Did you know there's a new type of matter that could change how we use computers? It's called a topological qubit, and Microsoft has just made a big breakthrough with it. They've created the Majorana one, the world's first quantum processor that uses these special qubits. Isn't that cool? Quantum computing sounds like something from a science fiction movie, but it's very real, and it's super interesting. Imagine a computer that can solve huge problems super fast, problems so big that even the fastest computers we have now would take years to solve them. That's what quantum computers can do. You know how your computer at home works with bits? Those bits are like tiny switches that can be turned off or on, which we call 0 and 1. Now, quantum computers use something called qubits, which are like supercharged bits. Here's the cool part. While regular bits can be only a 0 or a 1, qubits can be both 0 and 1 at the same time. It's like if you could be in your living room and your bedroom at the same time. This makes quantum computers incredibly powerful because they can do many calculations all at once. Imagine trying to solve a giant maze. Quantum computers could try out many different paths at the same time and find the way out super quickly. That's the amazing potential of quantum computing. Quantum computers are really powerful, but they have some big challenges that make them tricky to use right now. One of the main problems is that they are very sensitive to disturbances. Think of it like trying to build a house of cards in a room where the wind keeps blowing. Even a little bit of wind can knock everything down. For quantum computers, little things like tiny changes in temperature or accidental bumps can mess up the calculations they're doing. This problem is called quantum noise, and it's a big hurdle for companies trying to make these computers work for everyday tasks. Other big tech companies like Google and IBM are also working on quantum computers. They face similar issues, especially with something called quantum error correction. This is like trying to keep several house of cards stable at the same time. It's really complicated. Both Google and IBM have to use a lot of extra qubits just to make sure a few of them work correctly without errors. It's a tough problem to solve, but they're working hard on it. Have you ever heard of topological qubits? They're a new kind of technology that Microsoft is using to make quantum computers better. Imagine if you had a superhero friend who could do homework in a noisy room without getting distracted at all. That's kind of what topological qubits are like in the world of quantum computing. Regular qubits, the kind most quantum computers use, are super sensitive. They can get messed up by the smallest things like a little heat or even just a bit of light. But topological qubits are different. They're much tougher and don't get distracted by those tiny disturbances. This means they make fewer mistakes, which is a big deal when you're trying to solve complicated problems. Microsoft has figured out how to use these special qubits to build a quantum processor called the Majorana one. This processor is really good at avoiding errors, making it more reliable and powerful. Thanks to these topological qubits, Microsoft's quantum computers could soon do amazing things that no other computers can do. Isn't that exciting? Meet the Majorana one, the world's first topological quantum processor created by Microsoft. It's a huge step forward in the world of computers. Imagine if you had a magic notebook that helps you do your math homework faster and without any mistakes. That's kind of what the Majorana one does with its special tasks. This processor uses a unique kind of technology that isn't easily messed up by small things like heat or noise. It's made with a special material called a topoconductor. Think of this material as a superhero costume that protects the qubits inside the processor from getting disturbed. These protected qubits can do a lot of calculations quickly and accurately without making errors. This is really important because it helps solve big problems much faster than ever before. For example, it could help scientists find new medicines or help weather experts predict hurricanes more accurately. The Majorana one could change how we solve big problems, making the world a better place with its super smart computing powers. Isn't that exciting? Let's explore how Microsoft's quantum processor, the Majorana one, works its magic. This processor uses something called quantum dots to keep an eye on its qubits. Imagine you have a jar of marbles, and you're trying to keep track of whether you have an even or odd number of marbles. Quantum dots do something similar. They watch over the qubits and check if their conditions are like having even or odd numbers of something. Now, how does Microsoft read this information? They use microwaves, but not the kind you use to heat your food. These microwaves help them read the information from the qubits without actually touching them, so they don't mess anything up. This is clever because touching the qubits too much could change their state and lead to errors, kind of like accidentally dropping your marbles while counting them. Thanks to these quantum dots and microwaves, Microsoft's quantum processor can perform complex calculations reliably without making many mistakes. It's like having a super smart assistant that helps solve really tough puzzles without getting confused. Imagine if you had a special bike that could ride smoothly over rocks and sand, while other bikes got stuck or fell over. That's kind of what it's like with Microsoft's new quantum computers compared to others. Most quantum computers use regular qubits that are super sensitive and can easily make mistakes if something tiny bothers them, like a little heat or noise. But Microsoft's quantum computer uses something called topological qubits. These are like the special bike. They don't get bothered by those little things. This means they make fewer mistakes and are more stable, which is really important for a computer that needs to do lots of complex calculations. While companies like Google and IBM also build powerful quantum computers, they often need a lot more qubits just to correct errors. Microsoft doesn't need as many because their qubits are tougher. This makes Microsoft's quantum computers not only smarter, but also more efficient and practical. They can do bigger tasks without needing as much help to stay on track. Isn't that cool? Quantum computers are not just super cool. They can do amazing things that can help us in real life. For example, they can help doctors find new medicines much faster than ever before. Imagine a huge puzzle that needs to be solved to figure out how to stop a sickness. Quantum computers can solve that puzzle quickly because they can look at lots of pieces at the same time. They're also really good for keeping our computer stuff safe. In cybersecurity, quantum computers can create special codes that are super hard for hackers to break. This means our personal information, like photos and messages, can be safer on the internet. Another awesome thing quantum computers can do is make artificial intelligence, or AI, smarter. AI is like a robot brain that learns and helps with things like driving cars safely or helping you talk to your phone. Quantum computers can teach these AI brains much faster, so they can learn new things quicker and help us more in our daily lives. Quantum computers are like the superheroes of the computer world, making everything faster and safer. Microsoft has a big plan to make their quantum computers better and better until they can do really amazing things. First, they start with something simple called a tetron. It's like the first step in building a huge Lego set. The tetron uses just one or two of those special topological qubits to see how well they work. Once they know the tetrons work well, they move to the next step, building a small network of these qubits called a 4x2 qubit array. This is like putting together a small section of the Lego set to test if everything fits right. After they make sure this small network can correct its own mistakes, a bit like how spellcheck fixes typos in your homework, Microsoft plans to build a bigger and more powerful version. This big version is called a fault-tolerant prototype, and it's like completing a whole section of our giant Lego set. Their final goal is to build a super large, super smart quantum computer that can handle real jobs, like a completed Lego masterpiece that can solve huge puzzles all by itself. What do you think about Microsoft's journey towards a powerful quantum future? Can their new technology change how we solve big problems? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tech updates. See you next time.